Well, a very good evening to everybody. Welcome to today's session. And today we are going to discuss about, do we really need specialization or experience in one domain, or can we be the jack of all trades as well? So, well, I am Ankita De. I am an Android developer at Applex.in, and I am one of the core members as well. So, we'll welcome. I have a bunch of cool people with me today, and we are going to have a great time talking and discussing about some of the cool stuff and some of the technical aspects of it. So, well, I welcome Shayan Sheel. He is actually one of my very close seniors and has been guiding me like throughout my life of engineering. So he is a developer at TCS. He is a data scientist. He is a cloud developer. He is an Android developer, and the list goes on. He is also the head of IEDC, which is the government-funded lab at our college. So, yeah, I welcome Shayanda, and we'll actually get to know a lot about him. And if the list goes on, is because he has been exploring like every domain I have heard of during his engineering days. So, welcome, Shayanda. Welcome to today's show.
Thank you, Ankita. Good evening, everyone.
Yeah. Next we have Sourajit. He has also joined us. So Sourajit, like we have been together in this entire journey of Applex.in together. He is currently the
Yes.
head of app development at Applex.in, and he is now a full stack developer. So welcome Sourajit to today's show.
Welcome, Ankita. And also, I'm delighted to have Shayanda with me, right? Uh, it's been like, I think we are meeting like face to face maybe after almost a year now, isn't it?
More than 1.5 years, I suppose. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So I'll just introduce today's last member. Last but not the least, we have Prateek Majumder. He is an analyst at Applex.com. He looks after the marketing, the content, the SEO, and he has been an amazing friend of mine as well. Like the entire engineering is like I'll remember Prateek like forever. Prateek, welcome to today's show.
Thanks, Ankita.
Yeah. So, how do you guys feel about today's topic that we have? Like, do you guys feel that we should have a specialization in one domain and not a rough idea of everything?
That's a good question, actually. So, Shanda?
Yeah. So my thoughts about this is quite subjective. As in, there are people who have specialization who like a particular domain and they want to specialize in that. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. But then there are other peoples who are curious like me, and they are not able to identify one particular domain where they want to keep doing it and stay persistent towards that. So for that, I want to say that it's all right if you don't have a specialization. If you're curious, you can try out different things and things to work out. And we'll discuss on that in today's session. How?
Yes.
Okay.
So, like, I would like to take on one thing over here. So, Shayanda, I have been knowing Shayanda since my first year. So, when I had come to college, and I think it was second year, right? I had come for an interview at the lab that Ankita recently mentioned, IDC labs. I had come for an interview there. I was just a fresher, like totally noob with all technical things, right? So I think if there are any first year engineering students that are like right now watching our show, they would totally relate to my situation. So I was there sitting, and I had all these great guys who were sitting right there interviewing me. Shayanda was one of them, and he was actually one of the seniors who actually saved me from the kind of ragging. Like in our college, we don't have ragging, but the interview session was no less than that.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was same for me as well. Like I had no idea about what are the different domains. I didn't even know what each domain does. And I applied for there, and Shayanda was the one who took the interview. Like first time,
Yeah.
I was really horrible, but second time he felt that I have improved somehow, and then I joined the lab. So yeah, it was a nice experience, but it was a
In
kind of
fact,
bugging as well.
yeah.
Yeah,
In
yeah,
fact, I would like to share
yeah.
my personal view on Shayanda. So, since the time I've known him, what I feel is that he is one of the most sober personalities that I have. One of my like most sober seniors that I have met. Right, his like the way he carries himself, the way he speaks. It's like so soothing and gentle. But at the same time, uh, well, like if I had to compare him with someone, I would say that since he was the head of IDC up till last year, I would somewhat compare him with MS Dhoni, because we always call him the Captain Cool, right? So I have actually never seen Shayanda like too angry or too excited about something. So he always like kept his demeanor, but at the same time he made sure that yes, the ones who are under him are actually performing and they're actually doing their things. Isn't it, Shayanda?
Thank you. Thank you. I'm flattered. But on that, I actually remember. I saw your CVs during the interview, and the time when you applied for IDC, right? So I saw that you both of you were from second years, and that was rare back then. That a guy from second year had a particular
No,
interest
actually,
in
I was from
Android
first
and
year. Yeah,
first year.
first
Oh
year.
yes, yes, you're from first year. Yeah.
Yes, I was in
So
first year.
I found it very intriguing that from first day, and you had specifically mentioned that you did projects with Android and you were interested in that. At that point of time, I was also interested in Android. Right at that point of the time, so I thought that okay, I'll see what this guy is doing. I'll interview him personally. So that's that.
Yes. So I have actually prepared like a questionnaire for you.
Sure.
So
Okay.
we'll be obviously having the few fun moments in between. So like if I just come to the first question, so it's more or less a situation now that most people feel that yes, like if you don't have anything, go for engineering, right? I think you would agree with me, right? And especially in Kolkata, in the Bengali family, it's mostly relatable that okay, after 12th you don't have, right, either go for medical or go for engineering, right? So in all this like overhyped situation where like almost it won't be wrong to say that every gully in Kolkata might be having a engineering student, right? So in this situation, how do you feel about like being an engineering graduate? Do you right now love it, or do you kind of regret it that back then you might have also tried out something else after your school days?
Okay, I never really have let this BTech degree kind of how should I put it? I have never let this BTech graduate or the engineering degree let me introduce for myself. I mean, that's a thing. That's a part of my qualifications. That's all right. I'm an engineer. That's fine. But it's the other sort of works which I do, the projects which I have worked on, the internships and the work I do. Those are the kind of things which I am proud of, and those are the things which speaks for themselves. Not really the
Yeah.
engineering degree in itself.
Yeah. So if I just put it in like a one line, so are you happy being an engineer or maybe a coder?
I am neither happy nor sad. I actually have no feelings at all for being an engineer. It's just a thing which I did, and to that point, actually, I'll add something to it. I mean, the work which I do right now, as in development-related work, uh, the curriculum set by college has been very meticulously designed for someone. Speaking of computer science, by the way, I'm a computer science engineer. I did my engineering in CSE. So the curriculum set by colleges are meticulously designed in a way that a person with absolutely no computer science background can get to at some point eventually by the end of
Yeah.
fourth year. So a person like me who had a computer science background and had a passion for it, I really didn't find any advantage or an extra edge because of that curriculum, because that was set for someone who has absolutely no idea about computer science, absolutely from the basics, right? So I don't really have any strong feelings towards uh, the BTech degree contributing to whatever work I do right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So next thing is that since you right now mentioned that right, you are from a CSE background, so you have been working in engineering field. So
Is Sourajit audible? Sourajit, you're on mute.
hello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it fun? Yeah, yeah. So what I was saying, uh, since you are from CSE background and I am from ECE background, so once we are working together at the lab, and you had once mentioned, I remember that yeah, there are a lot of wannabe CACs these days, right? So, what's your take on that? That there are, I think, maybe Prateek, who joined us recently, he was from a double E background. Ankita and I, both of us belong to ECE background. But right now, I think with the availability of internet and YouTube and so much of content on internet, so like coding has become like, if you're interested, you can always be a coder. You can always like learn up anything from the net. So, do you think like the value of CAC degree is going down with the like the availability of net?
Definitely, as I was saying that I came to realize it after finishing my college that the degree which I have, the BTech degree, is quite less value if you think about it later on, and so is the stream basically. Like you're from EC and you're an excellent Android developer. I know that. I've seen that personally, right? So
Thanks so much.
Having an EC stream did not necessarily stop you from being that reaching that place, right? So
Yeah.
definitely, I'd say that so many online courses are coming up in the last couple of years, and people are using it and doing wonderful things. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll just add to this, like in our school, Sourajit, if you remember, we literally
Yes.
had medical and non-medical. Like it was not
Yes.
engineering or something that is anything that is non-medical is on the other side. Like
Yeah.
that time also we thought we could have thought about it. Why is it said that? And that's actually true because any other profession you see, you will see most of them ended up doing engineering and then they decided what next. Actually
Yeah.
feels good to them.
Yeah. In fact, I think by the end of this meet, I would definitely be coming to Shayanda with this question that yes, you are an engineer, but like engineers have been like, what should I say, maybe infamous for venturing out into all other professions. So what's your take on life and how would you like pursue in the next few years? So we will come to that at the end of the meet. Uh,
Okay.
so yeah. So right now, my next question would be that see I think what I found was that you are not a person who are like very much like out with people, who are like always talking with friends, making a lot of friends, right? So being a part of maybe a college, maybe a niche community like IDC, or maybe I am pretty sure every college in India must be having something like this, right? May not
Hmm.
be at the same scale, but I am pretty sure they must be having some community at least, right?
Yes.
So do you think becoming a part of such a community, like be first a member, then finally like when you're in fourth year, you are the head of that, right? So do you think a place like that helped you find a cozy corner in the like all the bustle and all the hectic things of your college?
I will 100% agree to that. Being a part of that close knit community, relating to something which I'm very passionate about, which is coding and designing and R&D, and finding that cozy place inside the college and spending my time there. Definitely, I'll say that I couldn't have spent my 4 years in the college any better. The way I spent it.
Yeah. So did you love my company?
No, I have mixed feelings about that. Uh, let's not get into the details. Neither
Okay.
yes
Okay.
nor no. Yeah.
This is what Sourajit was
Okay.
mentioning about, like his way of replying is so sober.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So actually that did not like quite satisfy me. You did not quite satisfy me with the answer, but still let's move ahead, right? Okay. So Ankita, what would be your next question for Sam?
Okay, so Shayanda, like regarding the academics and the curriculum that we have and things that engineers do. Okay, like you said, you got a cozy corner like in the lab. So like, do you really feel that because engineers get this cozy corner, they are able to explore more of what they want to do, and that is not with the guys who are doing BSc or honors degrees or different medical streams. They don't do you somehow feel that they don't get the chance to explore themselves because they don't get the free time that engineers get?
Mm, I don't really want to answer this question without knowing about their curriculum as well. I'm not really sure about the curriculum of the BSc or other graduation degrees which you mentioned. But I feel that the degree shouldn't be stopping them from uh, joining such kind of labs and research and development centers to pursue something which they are passionate about, and that shouldn't really be the case whatsoever. Yeah.
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 Okay. Another question. Like, with such a big competitive world these days, right? Every day there is some or the other competition going on. There are competitive exams coming up, and in this, do you somehow feel that, like, what is your take? What is your experience, or your, I would say, your way of thinking about the competition, and how much the students are, maybe they are stressed out, or maybe they are depressed, or they are thinking about the level of competition that they have to face and everything. What was your point of view here?
My point of view, I have a unpopular opinion here. Competition is nice. I have always been a little bit competitive with my peers in the past, and I try to give the best I can. But the thing is, I never try to overexert myself to beat someone else. I put in my effort to do the best I can, and if it didn't work out, that's all right. I tried my best, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are
uh,
a lot of comments coming up in the chat section. People.
Acha, before that, I would just like to ask Shayanda one question. So let's just have a personal thing for like all the students and all the guys who have joined the YouTube live and who know Shayan Sheel. So I think mostly being a junior, I have always known him to be like the one of the finest students in our college as well, like both in terms of his skills and in terms of his marks. So I would like to know that what was your highest marks and what was your lowest marks. See, on highest marks I think it has been 100%, but let's expose your lowest marks as well.
the lowest, as in the GPA, the lowest GPA I ever got.
Maybe like the most horrible situation you have been in terms of marks, like maybe your semester result or maybe a mid-sem exam, whatever it is.
I was really fortunate enough that I never faced a situation that it was so horrible that I got disheartened and stuff. But I did get an 8.5, I think, once in second or third year, I
That's the
suppose. Yeah.
worst. That's the
I
worst.
think I got 8.5 once. Yeah. But
Okay,
then I
okay,
managed to get my average yearly GPA above 9, so that was not an issue later on.
okay. So if I just make a small calculation, so the next time it was more than 9.5, like, yeah.
Around that, yeah.
Yeah, okay, I get it. I get it. So there are a lot of guys over here who might be disheartened after hearing this answer, but yes, there are a few people like this, and you have to deal with snakes around, right?
No, actually, it's really not that difficult to get good marks in colleges. The thing is, you don't need to study that study that hard. You just need to answer smartly in the exam.
I can find someone
Yeah.
commenting that 8.5 lowest. Report this guy. So guys, I would request all of you to subscribe our channel, but don't report the video at least. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, okay. And if I just talk about the highest marks, do you like I know you must be having a lot of competition for that rank, but
I don't remember exactly. In
yeah.
fourth, in the last semester, I think I got a 10. I mean 100.
Okay.
But yeah, I think, yeah, I don't remember correctly.
Okay, okay, that says a lot. Okay.
I hardly recommend, please do not ask such more questions. Our viewers
Yeah,
are going
okay, okay.
to.
Mhm. Yeah, let's move.
Yes. Yeah, let's move on. Okay. So yeah, I think now we can just take a few questions from the comments and then
Oh
let's
no.
just get back to our itinerary. Yeah. Yeah, Ankita.
See, the chat section is filled with amazing comments, but they are not
Yeah.
questions. Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody is saying 8.5 is the highest that I can think of. There's
Okay.
somebody saying, I
So
don't want to play after hearing 10.
yeah. Okay. So let me just pick out a few questions if I can get some. Uh Let me pick out some sensible questions. The memes, yes, we would definitely read them out to you, but those are not going to be some questions for him.
Truth has
Okay.
is asking, is React Native better option than Flutter for developing apps?
I'd say that you go ahead with whatever is comfortable with you. Both have their own advantages and disadvantages. If you have started with React Native already, then sure, go ahead with it. If you have started with Flutter, go ahead with that. I had started Flutter initially, so I prefer Flutter anyway. It's the same reason why I prefer Java over Kotlin, because I had started with Java for Android development, and I continue to pursue that. So you
Yeah.
won't be going wrong with any of that. Yeah.
Achha, I can find a very interesting question. I think
Uh,
recently it was creating a lot of buzz in social media that I think there was some recommendation by the government that maybe maths is not necessary to become an engineer. So somebody has commented that question. So what do you think about that? His exact comment, I will just quote it.
Yeah, please read
So
it out.
is maths a degree for? Is maths needed for degree? What's your view on removing maths from JE syllabus?
Um, I personally believe that math is kind of to some degree necessary. At least the basic understanding of the math. See, the math which we did in JE, all of us will know, and the differentiation, integration, the calculus which we did. I have never used it after I passed out from college. I'll be true, and I think that I'll never be using that anytime soon. Also in my life, right?
Yeah.
But those ideas which those solving those equations, those problems, what that had helped me is to develop a sort of thinking ability which has helped me solve other problems in programming, I'd say, and other real world problems like let's say, for example, projects which I did, the ecosystem simulator project which I'm working on with my friend, right? So there were certain
Mhm.
problems where I had to know and understand the Gaussian distribution which we had studied back then, and implement that to implement the genetic algorithm. So things like those mathematics basics which we did back then, even though we don't exactly implement them in real life, nobody comes up and hands over a problem and says solve this. It's that whatever you use that to solve the problems in an easy way, which would have been difficult without those mathematics concepts which we did back then in schools or colleges.
Yeah, I agree to this as well. Yeah. There's a very good question coming up. It says that Soham Das says, do you like playing games or do you like developing them more?
Okay, so game development was again one of the things which I tried back then, and then I realized that it's very hard, very hard. I was persistent, and I tried to like game development for about a year. I really tried, but then I realized that no, I'll just play games. I won't develop them. Yeah, I play a lot of Dota 2 and Genshin Impact by the way lately. Yeah.
Do you play
Yeah.
CSGO?
He just said he
CS:GO,
wasn't
no,
playing that.
I'm really bad at FPS games. I tried again, and I'm really bad at them. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Prateek is back. Prateek, how do you feel now? He was actually feeling a bit dizzy or something, so he left.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay. Okay. So we were discussing a lot about different things and different development aspects as well. Okay.
Right, right.
We were taking a few questions. Okay, there's a question, Java over Kotlin. Shanda, what would be your take?
Yes. If you had asked me this question around a year back, I think Sourajit had asked this question around a year back, and that time I had one point for Java. That is the documentation and the community help. So even like when you face a problem in Android, when you're developing Android and you hit up Google with that particular error which you face, the first search result which you'll see in Stack Overflow will be written in Java, always, right? So
Yeah.
that is the kind of community which has developed over the years for Java. By the way, I'm speaking for Android development, all right. So that is the kind of community that has been built up for the past couple of years, and there has been a lot of how should I say, blog posts and other helpful forums, etc., made specifically for Java. Right. So whenever you get stuck, you know that you'll find a solution when you're developing in Java in Android Studio. I might not say the same about Kotlin, even though I haven't really kept I haven't really kept a track of where Kotlin community is right now. So it might be soon catching up, but I still think that Java is ahead in terms of the publicly available documentation and help when you're developing as a fresher.
Okay.
Okay, so
So in
finally,
fact, I would
Java.
also keep. I would also. Hello, yeah, but I think I would also like to keep my view on that. So yes, I totally agree with Shayanda that Java, even I think after it, Kotlin has almost been in the Android world, I think for nearly maybe 2 years now, if I'm not wrong, maybe 2 to 3 years right now, right? So and Java like has been as a language, it has been there for a long time, and since the inception of Android, Java has been its official language, right?
Right. Right.
But recently, I was actually a little bit curious to try out Kotlin. And when I actually started making an app in Kotlin, like it was a very basic app. So people who know about little about Android, they would be knowing about recycler views and those things. So I would like arguably say that recycler view is perhaps one of the most complicated views as a beginner to start with, right?
Definitely. I had
So
nightmares
yeah,
about it.
so yes. So I actually tried like being a developer and having the kind of confidence, like if I may a little boast a little bit about myself, so having the kind of confidence that I have with Android, so I thought that maybe let's just try out with the difficult part, right? So I have like read a lot of posts about that Kotlin is perhaps better. You need to write less code. The code looks a lot cleaner
Right.
and those things. So I actually tried it out. So the few striking difference I noticed was yes, the code size is way shorter, right? Like for example, in terms of recycler views, people must be like who obviously who know have worked with Android. All of us know that we have to build models, right?
Right.
Models for like which will be populating the recycler view, right? So those models in Java, what we need to do is we need to create a class and then need to encapsulate the
Yes.
variables and get getters and setters, all those things. You will not believe me. Like obviously, if you work with Kotlin, you will know. But the entire lines of code, maybe for maybe a with a Java class having maybe 5 to 6 variables, the entire line of code can be written in just one line. The whole thing. It's just a single line that can like make the entire thing possible. Leaving that apart, the other things like maybe like set text for a text view or maybe an edit text, those things happen incorporated as properties with the views, right?
Right.
And those of you who know about view binding, so what happens is that in Java we have to like write an XML part and then a Java part and then link them with some find view by IDs. I am pretty sure Java developers must be hating that thing, right? Find view by ID, right, for all of them. Right, right. So thinking about that, when I actually wrote it in Kotlin, there is a very simple plugin which just allows you to use whatever ID you're using in an XML file directly as the objects in your Kotlin class. So you don't have to write find view by IDs anywhere. So all that hustle and bustle is gone, totally gone.
Right.
Right. So those things I found a lot interesting, and just coming to Kotlin, I think Kotlin is definitely like a way more modern language with respect to Java.
Right.
So you can somewhat compare it with Python in terms of like how the code is
Exactly.
written, how the code looks, right? How the code looks. And one thing I would foresee share that since Android is pushing Kotlin so much as its official language, so maybe not right now, but in the next 2 to 3 years, I'm pretty sure Kotlin community in terms of Java will be much bigger than perhaps in that than Java for Android. Yes. And
Right.
one latest thing that I found out that Android since they have recently going to release the Jetpack component, right? So that Jetpack thing is entirely based on Kotlin. If you are on Java, you are not going to get the fun of it, right? You're going to miss out on it. So in
Yeah,
terms of that, actually those who are Android Java developers right now, they will actually start need to like packing their bags and shifting to some new place. Actually, they have to learn it, right?
Yeah.
yeah. In fact, the designing aspect of XML is also going to change in Android.
Yeah.
Whatever
With the
whatever we
Jetpack
are
Compose coming
doing,
up, yes.
yeah,
So
it
so
will be
from
more
now
like
onwards, we spend less time on thinking about the code and thinking more about the application and the design. Right.
exactly.
Exactly,
It's
exactly.
like how Flutter does it. So like when for the first time I just tried with Flutter, I didn't like it because I was used to the way Android you design it in Android and the XML part, but now there's no other option, so you'll have to get a grasp on it as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Acha, I can find a few more interesting comments in the box that somebody is saying that just a simple line. So he was not competitive question mark. So this is somebody's comment. Acha. Like somebody has put out a good quote that if you want adventure in your life, engineering is the best option. This is something that I think Google says. Okay. Soham Chattopadhyay is asking that no specialization equals to depression. I don't know what this. How does this make sense?
No, not really,
Shaila, do you
not
know about
really.
this?
Not really.
Okay.
See, I personally, I always introduce myself as a person with no specific specialization, because I started, I remember I started when I was in first year. Yeah, I started with computer vision, and then I moved on to web development, machine learning, Android development, the game development, as I was saying. So I tried out multiple things, and at that point, I mean, when I was doing that particular thing, like when I was doing game development, I liked it for a while, right? And then I didn't like it, and I moved on. I After game development, I again came back to machine learning. So it's like I never really had a overall specialization throughout the years. It was these many specializations for that period of time which I had, and I really enjoyed it. I am a curious person by nature, and I enjoyed shifting from one domain to other, and this has also helped me actually, for being a kind of person who had tried so many things. In a team, I'm always that kind of person who is able to relate to every person in the team, whatever specialization they have. So I'm able to connect those people in the team and understand their side of the picture, as in what they can do and cannot do with their domains, right? So that is something which you bring to the team when you are a person who has tried out so many different things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Pratik, you would like to add something? You would have? Do you have any questions?
Yeah, just like what Dada said, I don't have any idea of Android, and right now I'm unable to relate to anything you said. So what the Shanda said exactly makes sense because I don't exactly have an idea of Android, and I'm unable to relate to what
That's fine.
you guys.
Yeah. So somebody's, I think, Pondon Dai saying that Sayan absolutely pro. Okay, I agree to that point, no doubts. Okay, Rakesh Dai is saying that Sayan ML is greater than XML. Okay, I take that point as well. There's one interesting question. I think there are a few genuine viewers as well who are asking that, did you try augmented reality and virtual reality?
Yes, when I was doing game development, that is using Unity 3D, I tried augmented reality for a while, courtesy to Oyun, one of my friends. He was the one who introduced me to it. And I tried it for a while. I think I participated in a couple of hackathons with Oyun as well. He did most of the work, I'll admit. But then I had fun, whatever time I spent with augmented reality. But then sooner or later, I lost interest, and I again moved on to some other domain. But I did try augmented reality, so I'll be able to relate to those things as well if I find any augmented reality developer in my team.
Yeah, great. Okay, so one important question would be that I think a lot of engineering students, they are like totally horrified about what's going to be their fourth year project, right? So what was your fourth year project, if you would like to disclose something about it? And next would be like, when did you start developing it? Was it some case like you had been working on some project since maybe your very early days, and then maybe you finally ended up like modifying that product and having the final project? Or was it something you specifically made just for the purpose of the like the doing it with the fourth year project?
This is really an interesting story. So, the inception of the project, my final year project, I never thought that this will be my final year project. It was done on the first meeting of the Research and Development Center, which I'm a part of, like the IDC, right? So, in the
Yeah.
very first meeting, we were told to think of some innovative idea and come up and discuss about it in the meeting, so that all my seniors can understand what sort of ideas I bring to the table, I bring into the lab, right? So I had this idea of having, since I was looking into machine learning at that point of time, so that was my specialization in that duration, right? So I came up with this idea of having an ecosystem simulator, where the user, that is me, will act as a god and will control the climate and weather and stuff, and will have certain organisms with their own movements, their own living patterns inside that simulation. and they'll live their life, then they'll die, they'll reproduce, then comes the next generation, and they'll move on, right? And since
Yeah.
being the user, the god, I can speed up the time, and we can, at the end of the day, we can see that what sort of changes in the genes do they undergo, and what sort of do they become taller, do they become shorter, do they have an increased speed after 7 generations, let's say. So that was very interesting to me, right? So I came up with that topic, and I told in that meeting, and I remember that the senior said that no, this is not possible, this won't work. You'll need a lot of things to do this, which is not really possible at the moment, right? So I kept quiet. All right, I kept quiet for a while, but I had this idea in my mind that okay, I
And
came up
when
with
was
this
this idea?
idea.
When did this idea come to you? Was it like on the
No,
end year
that
of
was
your
right
fourth year?
right before the sorry, right before the meeting. I was thinking of some ideas, and it was just
No,
it was
I am
just
what
there
I'm
right
saying
before the
is
meeting.
no, what am I saying? What I'm saying is, so this meeting was this meeting like towards the end of your fourth year or like beginning of
No,
third year? What
at the
like at
beginning,
what point of time?
it was the first meeting of IDC which I had. The first meeting, which
Okay,
was
so
in
okay,
second year.
and back then you were in which year? Second year. Okay,
Second
okay,
year, yeah, second year.
okay.
Yeah.
So now you can relate, right? That second year guys thinking about these kind of things. Okay.
Yeah, so I had this in my mind, I kept it in my mind that okay, I came up with this idea, this was my first idea in the lab, and it was rejected, right? Then came third year, towards the end of third year, when we were deciding our final year projects. Towards the end of third year, yes, towards the end of third year, when we were deciding our final year projects, I was uh, how should I put it? I was really very fortunate that one of my friends, I disclosed this particular idea to one of my friends, and he was really excited to hear that idea. Right. So I was really fortunate that he decided that he was the one who said that okay, let's do it as a final year project. Rohan, my friend, right?
Yeah.
Seeing his enthusiasm, I said that okay, yes, come on, let's do it. And we started researching. We did a lot of thorough research on how the hell do I do this, right? So we did a lot of things. We studied genetic algorithms. We studied 3D modeling, though that's still under process. And we created the GitHub repository, and it all started. And right now, I'm really proud to say that it's the current how should I put it? The current situation of the project is far more than what I had expected we'll achieve by the end of fourth year. And it's a working model. The simulation works, and we're very, really happy and proud to be one of the developers that made it possible.
I have a complaint with this thing. So I had been a part of IDC, but actually I had never heard of this project. Ankita, did you?
No.
It was never a part
Shayan.
of since this idea was rejected on the very first day. I made it a point that I'll do it by myself with the people who trust in this project, which was my friend Rohan. So it was just me and Rohan who built this project from scratch. Yeah.
Yeah. So somebody's asking, would you like to share your GitHub ID? So Shayanda, if you can, maybe.
Yeah, sure.
Right?
It's github.com/Sayan, Sayan. Actually, I'll type it out in the comments if possible.
Okay. So there is a very popular question out here that are you a Linux guy or a Windows guy or a Mac guy?
Uh, I have been a Windows guy till my first year. Yeah, I have been a Windows guy till my first year, and I was very adamant, like all Windows guys. But then
Mhm.
my friends converted me to Linux, and I have been an Arch guy since my third year. When you're once you're into the Arch Linux ecosystem, Arch Linux environment with an i3 window manager, there's no turning back from that point. It's just too convenient.
Okay.
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 There's somebody commenting, Shayanda has a secret God project.
Yeah, and that is actually a secret. Even I did not know about it, but definitely I would love to see that one day, right? And I would like to
Yeah,
take
sure.
an
It's
like a
there.
tour of
It's
the
there on
simulation.
my GitHub. You all can go. You all can. It's an open source project, right? You all can fork it, contribute to it. It's open source. Go ahead.
Okay, so Rakesh Da is also my senior, and I have known him very closely. So his question is, as you can see on your screen, Arch or Debian?
Okay, so during my early SC, my friends have been pressuring me to use Arch since the very first time when I switched to Linux. But then I said that no, I'll start with Debian. I am a noob Linux user, so I started with Linux Mint, and it was fine. It was fine. It was like this Windows experience inside Linux. Right, we have a start menu sort of thing. We have a taskbar, and it was fine. But then after a couple of months when I switched to Arch, as in I dual booted to just check it out, check out how the Arch system is, how the package manager is, how the i3 window manager is, and once I got there, again there's no turning back from there. It's too convenient, so I have been an Arch guy since then.
Okay, so what I find is Shayanda shifted to uh, Linux because of peer pressure, but I don't
Absolutely.
think, yeah, so I don't think my peers have been that pressurizing on me. So I am still a Windows guy. I don't know whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, but yes, I am still a Windows guy. So yeah, Windows guys don't need to be depressed right now. There's a
Yeah,
lot
I'm
of
a
followers for, yeah. Okay, so somebody, so any other question that we have? So somebody's asking that, do you consider yourself a Windows Pro user? It's Pratyush Da. Yes.
Hi Pratish. I do not consider myself a Windows Pro user. I have used Windows for a fair share amount of time, but I am not. I haven't really. When have I last used Windows? That was back in second year, I think. I after that I had never really opened Windows, so I am. I not say that I'm a Windows power user. Definitely not. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Okay, there is a very technical question out here. I would like just love to like if you can just take it very quickly. Why can't Arts Package Manager do dependency management well? I don't have any idea on this. So yes, Shayanda, please take it.
Who's? Sorry. What was that?
So the question is from Pratyush Das. His question is,
Yes.
why can't Arts Package Manager do dependency management well?
I am not really the correct person to answer this question. I
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you think that he should take this up with the Linux team, right?
Mr. Rohan.
Okay, Mr. Mohan Markhomes. Okay.
There is another question. Does all full stack web developers need to master Angular JS?
No, not really. That is again very subjective. You might want to go Angular JS, or you can go for Node JS. You can go for React as well, right? So that depends on the project which you're working in. Maybe the let's say you're working in a company which expects you to work on React and not Angular, so then you'll have to switch to React at that point of time. Or if you keeping the your workplace aside, if you start working on a project, then that's completely up to you, whichever you feel convenient to use. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have
Even I
a
have a take on this. Even I have a take on this. Right. So mostly I have seen like React versus Angular. This has been a very popular debate, right? And I think there's one other guy who has also joined in the debate, Vue.js, right? So Vue is
Mhm.
like kind of, I would say it's somewhat midway between React and Angular.
Mhm.
But the kind of like following I find for React, it's maybe somewhat a little more as compared to Angular. I don't know why that is, but maybe according to me, it would be the case that maybe React is a little simpler to start with. Like you
Definitely.
don't have to bother about a lot of things, but I think Angular is just like throws everything at your face, and then you have to like find
Definitely.
out and figure out how to do it, right?
Mhm. It's difficult to learn.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
One of the
Ankita,
questions
next questions.
Spring. What about Spring?
Spring is nice. I won't say that Spring is as beginner friendly as the other ones which we mentioned, like React and Vue and all of that. Spring is more used in very much enterprise specific development. Like the place where I work in TCS banks, the the banking related softwares which is being used mostly use Spring. That has a steep learning curve, and that has a very niche and specific use in development. So that's fine. If you want to learn Spring, you can go ahead. Then you'll have again this niche area of expertise which will make you a very attractive candidate when you apply for those kind of jobs. But it's very much enterprise grade specific development tool framework.
Yeah. So last day only we were having a discussion, like I was having a discussion with Sourajit regarding Spring. So yeah, so do you think like in the upcoming few days or few years, Spring is not going to be that much in use?
I really have uh, no comments regarding that, because I I haven't seen the Spring community being that helpful. I mean, for beginners and stuff. So I'm not sure if people can't get into Spring that easily without having this particular need or demand by the kind of work they do. If there are not many people who are getting into Spring, the community won't grow further, and I'm really not sure how where that is headed in near future.
Okay. Okay, there is another question. How about simulating workplace with no specialization?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Yeah, so it's how about simulating workplace with no specialization?
That is, by the way, who asked this question? Soham? All right, Soham, we can discuss about that later on. It's a good, interesting project, right? We can work on it together. Simulating workspace with no specialization.
There was another question. I just missed it. Uh, it is the best REST API. Which one? Somebody is saying something. Okay. Okay. One more question. Like in the corporate sector, like you have jumped in the corporate sector these days. So, which are the languages or which are the frameworks that are mostly in use so that the budding developers can start working on that as well?
I cannot speak on the behalf of other IT firms, I suppose. I have been a
Mhm.
part of TCS recently,
Yeah.
and I can speak on the behalf of the unit which I'm working on, as in the financial solutions unit. So we have, I think we mostly use Spring and Spring Boot for the enterprise grade applications, the core banking systems, and for other front end applications which are to be used by banks, we mostly use Angular, because we have been using Angular for quite some while. Uh, so yeah, that's all.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay. So
so
there was
I think we have taken a lot of comment questions. So let's just come back to our itinerary, right? And maybe and then we'll be again coming back to the comments, right? Okay. So my question was that in fact today I was just having a discussion with him that like the things that you have learned in college. Maybe if I just remain maybe a branch specific with EC or maybe or with CSC or maybe IT department who have like a lot of coding related things or computer related things in their curriculum, right? So how much of a help has that been to your like corporate life and the jobs that you're doing right now, or the kind of things that you see around going around in other corporates as well? Do you think that has been helpful, or do you think you had the kind of work that you had on your personal capacity that has been the key factor for you?
So I'll repeat myself by saying that the curriculum the college has designed for us has been again meticulously designed for a person who has absolutely no background in coding or programming. So that is not really much of a help for a person who has previous experience in programming and who actually pursues programming as a hobby outside the course curriculum, right? So I have been passionate about programming and coding, and I have been pursuing a lot of things, as I was telling you. So the college curriculum in itself, whether it be for CSE or EC, has not really been a major help to the work which I do right now. As in, like I was saying, the Angular and Spring Boot framework which we are using right now in my workplace. we were never taught that in college, right? It's what I did as a hobby outside college. uh, so I'm really not sure if college has helped directly on what I work after passing out from college.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So now I will be like asking you a few very informal questions, right?
Oh
So
no.
do you have any like best memory from your college? Just and that can also be something apart from the time when you got 10 CGPA. Something apart from
And
that.
that is not memorable at all. Like casual, I
No,
never
I
took
think
exams
if you just
seriously.
mention that again, there would be again a few more members who would
Okay,
be
okay,
in
I'll
our
keep
chat
quiet
right
about
now.
that. I'll keep quiet.
Yeah. Yeah.
A memorable, well, I'll be honest, all my memorable incidents are relating to IDC itself. That has been my entire college life. It started from second year in IDC and it ended with IDC after passing out. So I remember two such incidents from IDC. One was right before our we had this exhibition, this IoT, not exhibition really, the IoT training camp, I think, where we had to distribute some kits for Arduino kits with some PCBs. And I remember we stayed back overnight in IDC designing the PCBs for that. And then again, later on, we stayed back overnight actually soldering components on the PCBs for preparing for the distribution of those kits next day. So that is something which I remember. And there's another incident where we had, I think, the CIA exhibition the next day, the Confederation of Indian Industry, and we stayed back again overnight to prepare all our products, which will be displaying on the exhibition the next day. So we stayed back, and once we were done with our work at around midnight, 12, we left off. We didn't sleep, of course, but our faculty head does not know about that. We left off and we watched a movie. It was 2 a.m. in the morning, I think. We watched a movie, then we head out and had some nice dinner that day, all of us. And then we came back, and without sleep, we left off for the exhibition. So these two are some of my most fond memories
I think
from IDC.
apart
Yeah.
from that, Rohan Gomes might be knowing a little more about you since he's a batchmate. So he has a very interesting comment. I wouldn't ask you to answer that, but yes, it's
Mhm.
just for the viewers to know. So he's saying that memorable incidents in college, question mark, Sayan starts blushing. I don't know what that means, but yes, I am sure it must be meaning something.
Interesting.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I think you can take that up later on.
Maybe. Okay.
Okay. Okay. One of them has a very straightforward question. So any dinner
Mhm.
date, any dates, any relationships in your
I
college?
had a lot of dinner dates with people from IDC. Like I think you were not there. No, you were not there. You never stayed back at night, na,
What
Sourajit?
what I think is again being a little diplomatic as you're always. Okay. Let's skip it over here. Right.
Hmm.
Okay. So one very simple question. Have you ever bunked classes to go for movies?
Movies. I bunked almost all the classes after second year to stay back at IEDC. So
But not for movies.
that's no, not really. I'm not. Well, again, an unpopular opinion. I'm not a very big fan of movies.
Okay. So even after that, if I ask you, do you have any favorite choice of movie or maybe a book? Like being a geeky kind of person, I'm asking option. I'm adding the option for book as well.
Mm,
Shayan is
I
not that geeky
yes.
actually. Huh?
Ha
Like
ha.
this
When
one
I
is
do watch movies, I usually prefer psychological thrillers, not specifically horror. Thrillers, psychological movies.
Yeah. Okay. Any favorite you would like to pick?
I do not have a favorite movie because I don't watch many movies, so I don't have a favorite. I just like the genre of psychological thrillers.
Okay. Ankit, I would just like ask you to put up the comment of Rakesh Seal in the over here, and that would speak for itself. Yeah. Okay.
just
Yeah. Yeah, this comment that RDB, yeah, that would speak for itself. Yeah. Okay. So let's move on. So now, if I can just coming back to some serious points, like like why I asked you this question about movies, that Three Idiots is, I guess, perhaps the most popular movie maybe throughout the world with respect to engineering life, and how does an engineer become an engineer, or what's the entire journey like, right? And there is a very popular dialogue that I think it says that if you are having your skills, like success will be automatically catching up, right? So what do you think about that? Do you think that is true for you? That has been the mantra for your life?
I would say that I have been really fortunate enough that I really got good opportunities, whether it be for my skill set or whether I was just being lucky. But I really am very fortunate for getting good opportunities from India and abroad for internship and part time work experiences. And yeah, that's it. Yeah, I just kept I persisted. I worked for I mean, I have no specialization again, but that doesn't mean that I left working or trying at all, right? Yeah, even if I switched domains, I kept on working on multiple projects, and that did kept on adding up to my CV, and maybe that helped me land up good work opportunities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
there's a good question. Like, I don't know. Like, you must be working. Like, are you working from home right now, or you are
Yes, yes,
going?
yes, yes. No, I'm
Yeah.
working from home. Yeah,
Yeah. So how does it feel? Like, even in the college days, we didn't used to, like, in the lab we used to work offline. So how does
definitely. So, yeah, I'll say that when I came to know that we'll be working from home for a long and unforeseen amount of time, I was kind of disappointed and disheartened because for the past 3 years in IDC, we have been working uh, together in the lab, right next to each other. It was a close knit and cozy space, like I said, and we have been working with each other, alongside each other. And now working from home, it just doesn't seem the same. Yeah, it's not the same, right? So that was that, a bit disheartened, but after around 6 months or so, I got used to it and moved on, right? Whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
yeah, our college
I
life
think
became
it's really some
study from
difficult
home.
time, right?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I said our college life became like study from home, college from home.
Mm.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
something which you can talk about later to your uh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
grandchildren.
There are a lot of, Shayan, I must tell you, these are like public comments. And there are like, you know, I would not like to read them up, but yeah, they're about RDB, they're about your dates, they're about where you
Ah,
went.
Okay. So yeah, so we will be having that in the history of like Applex.in's YouTube channel. Yeah, that will be there forever, right? So maybe you can show them to your grandchildren as well.
sure, sure. I will definitely.
Yeah. Okay. So like while I was preparing for this interview, right? So I just thought of a very interesting question for you, right? That maybe you have seen, right? There are a lot of. Are you a fan of memes? Do you like them?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, okay. So if I just ask you, like, if you had to make a meme on like engineering or coding, like with the expectation versus reality template, so what would be your quotes? Like for either column, like for expectation and reality.
I did not get. I mean, expectation reality
Like
regarding.
maybe if
Uh,
you had to make a meme, right? Like
mhm,
expectation versus reality meme,
mhm,
keeping in mind the context of engineering or coding, right?
mhm.
How would that be? Like what would that meme be like?
Uh, okay. For me, I think my expectations were a lot high from college. I mean, when I got into engineering, I thought that I'll learn a lot from college. It's a BTech degree, so many good things, right? And the reality was that the college curriculum didn't really help me at all, and it was just the work experience which I got at IDC which
Mhm.
pushed me forward to build my CV where it is today. So yeah.
Yeah. So like just to drag a conclusion to this debate, like whether college is important or not, just keep this in mind. This guy, like throughout his session, has been saying that he has, like, college has not been a lot of help for him. Like he did not he didn't feel that curriculum is very important, but at the same time his highest CGPA is 10 and his lowest is 8.5. So I think, guys, yes, as he says, college or the curriculum is not the end of life for you, like for your engineering degree, but at the same time, like he's setting a precedence, right? It is important. You must be maintaining at least a certain low, like a minimum level of CGPA.
Yes, that
Otherwise, it
is
might
important.
cause you some problem. Yeah.
Yes, that is important. So we you don't need to like give all your work time and effort into getting good marks in the college. You just need to work smartly, as in you need to figure out what is the minimum cutoff which is required for you to sit for placements after the college in your fourth years. And knowing that, you prepare that much, right? If it's eight is the minimum cutoff required, then you study that much, whatever is required. And if it's more than eight, then pat yourself at the back, you have done it. You spend time to those particular things which are more important than getting a point or two more in your college academy.
Yeah, even I would like kind of agree with you that I don't think college curriculum, especially engineering curriculum, is that difficult for which you not like study 365 days, 24 hours, right? It's not at all like that. I think most engineers would be like actually studying maybe a night before the exam, right? I don't know what was the case with you, but at least for me, I feel like I totally relate to it, that most of the things, most of the exams, even for semester exams, like maybe I am preparing for maybe at max a week, but like all like 60% or 50% of the syllabus is completed one night before the exam. Right. So even with that, I think I am managing to get at least decent CGPA, maybe not as good as him, but yes, it's decent.
It's like your senior Shayanda. Okay, let me be honest. It's not decent. It's somehow likely what Shayanda is getting, right?
Okay,
Okay.
okay,
So
okay.
there's a small
And now I
question.
would also change the topic.
Yeah, it's better you don't talk more about that. So we have
Yeah.
Rakesh Da. Who was your favorite professor?
um, if I disclose that, that will be very much biased. So
So
I'll
maybe you
prefer
cannot,
not to.
maybe you
But
don't
I
name
can
him,
say
but
this much that.
describe his character.
Sorry? Huh?
So maybe you don't name him, but maybe describe him with your like kind words.
Oh, describe him with my kind words. Um, how should I put it now? I'll say this much that we had his first class when I was in first year in management house. Okay, I already said he. I think that's enough. I think, yeah. I won't get into too many details, but I really love the way he taught, not just from the curriculum itself, but outside the curriculum as well. And he was really very much excited to teach. That's something which I haven't found in many people which I've met in my life. Someone who is that excited to teach what they know to other people. So that is something which I really found. How should I say? I found praiseworthy, I'd say.
Got it, got it. Okay, there's another question. If you would like to answer, is ISRO CS exam equivalent to GATE?
I have not heard of ISRO CS exam, pardon me, so I don't think I'll be able to answer that.
Okay, Sourajit. So, you have any more questions?
Yes, so I think it's a good time that we conclude now. So before concluding, as we had promised, so like every engineer, right? So we have seen engineers becoming politicians, becoming stand-up comedians, becoming whatnot, right? And
Mhm.
so where do you see yourself? Maybe
I
right now
see,
you're part of a
yeah,
corporate, right? But where
yeah.
do you see yourself maybe in the next few years or maybe in the long term at least? How would you like to
I
retire? That would be a simple question.
I see myself switching between like specializations, whether it be 5 or 10 years down the line, whatever I might be doing. I'm pretty sure that I'll be doing something different from what I'm doing right now. Let's just say that.
Okay. And is stand-up comedian an option in
No,
that list?
no, no. That's not on my
No.
list. No, that's not on
Okay,
my
somebody
list.
had asked that question a long time back. So yes, your question is answered now. Okay.
So beautiful
Uh,
message here. To be a good professional engineer, always study late for the exams because it teaches you how to tackle time.
yeah. And that's from Bill Gates, right? Okay. So yeah. So I think all of us had their doubts cleared from you. We had a lot of very interesting questions and a lot of very serious exposures and allegations coming on to you, like especially from the comment box, right? Okay. So like before we conclude, any last notes that you would like to put out for our viewers?
I'd say that again, coming back to the main topic of our discussion today, specialization. Having no specialization is not something which you should be scared or worried about. If you're curious to try out different things, go ahead and try out. You can be a jack of all trades and a master of one at a time. Like, so it's not a bad thing at all. You will definitely find a way to contribute in wherever you end up being.
Okay.
Just be true to
And
yourself.
should I
Yeah.
say this is also going to be your tips for like maybe current engineers or engineers like us who are going to maybe graduate in a few years?
Yeah, yes,
Like,
yes, definitely. If you have a specialization, if you're passionate about one particular thing, go ahead and do it. That's not bad at all. That's excellent. But if you don't, if you are curious and if you want to try out all sort of things, then
mhm.
that's not bad either. So you can go ahead and be true to yourself and try it out. It's not bad.
Absolutely.
Okay. So if we just end on a very crazy note, so I have asked you what's the most like beautiful memory from your college, how has been your college life. So what's the craziest thing that you have done? And we would end with that question. What's the craziest thing in your college or maybe in your life? I don't expect a very interesting answer from you, but still,
I
if there's
know
something.
there are. I'm a very calm and peaceful person. I tend to avoid crazy things. I've seen a lot of crazy things done around me, but
Hmm.
I've tried to avoid them. Personally, being entangled in those sort of things. So the ones I know, I'll try to avoid disclosing them in a public forum. Yeah, and
Okay, okay,
I know
that's great.
a couple of things about you too, Sourajit. So I'll try to avoid that disclosing.
Okay, okay. And I think this question has been answered in the comment box.
Okay, I'll have a look later on.
Your,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
your statement has been modified to Jill of all trades and master of Jack.
Okay, okay.
Okay. Okay, so I
Thank
guess we
you.
can end today's session. It was a lovely time.
Yeah,
Like we spent 1 hour gossiping and learning so many new things as well. So thank you, Shayanda. Thank you for being here today. And
Thank
yeah,
you.
thanks to the audience as well for being so crazy in the comment section today. Thank you.
Thank you for
yeah,
inviting me today. It was lovely speaking to you after so long. We met so long face to face. I mean, it's not face to face, but virtually. We met after so
yeah,
long. It was lovely speaking to you. Even Prateek, if he's not here, if you can hear me, thank you.
Thank
yeah,
you. Bye.
yeah.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.